Let us move on to next topic, that is coordinate reference frames. To describe a picture, we first decide upon a convenient Cartesian coordinate system called world coordinate reference frame, which could be either 2D or 3D. We then describe the objects in our picture by giving their geometric specifications in terms of positions in world coordinates. So that means whenever if you want to draw any picture either in 2D form or 3D, so when you say 2D, you will have two axes, that is x axis and y axis. Suppose if you are representing an object in 3D, then you will be having z axis as well. Is it? So to describe any object, maybe you say a square. Okay. So suppose you want to draw an object on the screen. So first you have to define the object in world coordinate system. Okay. You have to describe your objects in world coordinates. So any object in our picture has to be represented in world coordinates. See, for example, we define a straight line segment with two endpoint positions, and the polygon is specified with set of positions for its vertices. So whenever you say a straight line, so suppose if you are taking a straight line, so when you can draw a straight line when you are having exactly two endpoints, is it? So if you have endpoints, then you can have a line segment there, is it? And similarly, if you have a polygon, okay, any kind of polygon, there also you have to mention what are the vertices. Okay, endpoints, certain endpoints you may be having, so that has to be represented, and these uh, vertices are all represented in world coordinates initially. Okay, so initially whatever the objects, any primitives, it may be points, lines, polygons, or any geometric object, whatever you have around the world will be represented using world coordinates. So these coordinate positions are stored in the scene description along with other information about the objects such as color and their coordinate extents. So that means all these positions, the coordinate positions, maybe you represent a point with x and y position. So where this point positions or locations will be stored, in which component of your system. So it will be stored in the frame buffer. So in the frame buffer, the color information for a vertex, the coordinate extents, maybe coordinate extents, when you say, it will be with x and y values. Okay, x and y values if it is a 2D representation, and it will have the coordinate extents will have the values of x, y and z values if it's a 3D representation. Is it? So what are coordinate extents now? Coordinate extents are the minimum and maximum x, y, z values for each of the object. A set of coordinate extents is also described as a bounding box for an object. For example, an 2D figure, for a 2D figure, the coordinate extents are sometimes called as bounding rectangle. So now you are thinking, what exactly is an coordinate extents? Is it? So when your scene is being represented or an object is represented in the screen, okay, the screen has got certain boundary. Is it? The boundary line. Okay, so along x-axis, so x minimum will be there. Okay, and similarly here at the end of the point, here if you are saying this will be x minimum, x maximum, okay, and y minimum and y maximum values will be present. Okay, x minimum, x maximum, y minimum and y max. Okay, so that gives a boundary for boundary for representing an object on the screen. Okay, simply you cannot render your scene everywhere on the particular system, is it? You should have a, you have to create a window, and in that window there will be, for a window you will be having a boundary. So within the boundary only your objects has to be represented. So before creating any window, you should have a minimum values, x minimum, y minimum, x maximum, y maximum values. Okay, so objects are then displayed by passing the scene description to the viewing routines, which identify visible surfaces and map the objects to the frame buffer positions and then to the video monitor. So that means whenever you are processing the particular world coordinates, okay, first it will be in the world coordinate system. Every object will be represented in world coordinate system. So all these objects has to be rendered on the screen. So when you are rendering on the screen, it will be converted to device coordinates, is it? Uh, as you have already learned this particular concept uh, in the earlier slides. Okay, all the world coordinates will be going for a certain weaving routines. Okay, world coordinates will be converted to weaving coordinates, then to projection coordinates, then to normalized coordinates, and finally it will be becoming a device coordinates. So if you have a device coordinates only, then you can uh, render or you can project any image on the screen. Until then you cannot uh, display any of the objects on the screen. So that's why here objects are displayed by passing the scene description, okay, scene description to the weaving routines, which identify the visible surfaces and map the objects to the frame buffer position. So in the frame buffer you will be understanding where exactly the points has to be located or the vertices has to be located on the screen, and what is the color for the particular vertex, and so all this information, location of the point, all this will be present in the frame buffer. Okay, the information about the particular vertex or the point which you want you to render on the screen, so these things will be present in the frame buffer. So finally the processing will happen within the system, and this camera coordinates will be converted to screen coordinates, and finally it will be displayed on the device. Okay, so these things will happen for any 2D or 3D systems. Okay, screen coordinates. Locations on a video monitor are referenced in integer screen coordinates, which correspond to integer pixel positions in the frame buffer. Scanline algorithms for the graphics primitives use coordinate descriptions to describe the locations of pixels. Okay, so there is one algorithm you are going to study in this particular chapter, that is maybe in the next chapters. Okay, you have scanline algorithm. Okay, we are going to study about the locations of pixels. So here locations on video monitor are referenced in integer screen coordinates, which correspond to integer pixel positions in the frame buffer. So always when you are representing a screen coordinates, it will be in form of integer values, and this represents the pixel positions in the frame buffer. So I said that whenever when you are having the world coordinates initially, so when I was saying the object will be represented using world coordinates initially, is it? Okay. So this world coordinates finally will be converted to screen coordinates when it has to be displayed on the screen. So here the frame, there will be a frame buffer to store the values now, the coordinate values. Okay. So where exactly it will be stored? The screen coordinate values, it will be stored in the frame buffer. So locations on video monitor are referenced in integer screen coordinates, which correspond to integer pixel positions in the frame buffer. So using these positions, there will be processing will happen in the system, and the integer pixel positions will be finally represented on the screen. Okay, so this is one of the example. You have given an endpoint coordinates for a line segment. A display algorithm must calculate the positions for those pixels that lie along the line path between the endpoints. For a, maybe one of the program that draws a line segment. So whenever you draw a line segment, it won't be in a straight line. Maybe I say here, for example, when you're drawing on the screen, uh, it may start from one point and it may end somewhere. Okay, it may have a slope. Exactly. Okay, so you have to place these positions on the screen. Maybe these are all are pixels. Okay, so smallest unit what you are going to say, which you are going to draw on the screen, is a pixel. Okay, so there will be some calculations needed to represent those pixels on the screen. So since the pixel position occupies a finite area on the screen, the finite size of the pixel must be taken into account by implementation algorithms. So there will be certain algorithms to calculate the positions of the pixels or that will be displayed on the screen. So finally your whatever the object you want to represent, that will be displayed on the screen. So before displaying, there will be the coordinates will go through certain algorithms. Okay, and then the locations of the pixels where the exactly the pixels has to be represented on the screen will be given. For the present, we assume that integer screen position references the center of a pixel area. Once the pixel positions have been identified, the color values must be stored in the frame buffer. So initially, so I said that in the frame buffer, you will be storing the locations of the pixel locations where exactly your object has to be rendered. So that positions will be the position locate, or you say xy coordinates locations, you say, is it? So that will be, that information will be stored in frame buffer, and your color information, everything will be stored in the frame buffer. So once the pixel positions, so you know now the location where exactly your object has to be rendered on the screen. Okay, you know the positions now. After that, color color values will be stored in the frame buffer. So initially this locations will be stored, and then the color values for those locations uh, will be present, or it will be stored in the frame buffer. Once pixel positions have been identified, the color values must be stored in the frame buffer. So as you know, whenever, suppose if you want to draw an object, maybe I have a square. Okay, you want to render this into a display screen. Okay, computer system thing, you want to display the particular object on the screen. So before displaying the content on the screen, the pixel information will be stored in the frame buffer, is it? Before projecting the particular object on the screen, okay, on the screen, it will be stored in the pixel positions will be stored in the frame buffer. So once you identify the pixel positions in the frame buffer, its color values are also will be set, and it will be stored in the frame buffer. Okay, so here now the frame buffer consists of the information about the location of the particular object. Okay, it will consist of the color information, what color the object has to be represented, and the coordinates xy. If it is a 2D object, it will have a xy coordinate, the location, and also the size. Okay, the pixel size, everything will be stored. All this information will be all stored in the frame buffer. So you have two functions here to set when you before rendering any object on the screen. Okay, so one is set pixel x comma y. Okay, so what this particular function does, set pixel x comma y, it stores the current color setting into the frame buffer at integer position xy relative to the position of the screen coordinate origin. So there will be different the coordinate values on the when you are displaying it on the screen. So we call it as screen coordinates, and it has got its own origin. Okay, xy origin. Okay, we represented origin with 0 comma 0. Okay, and from there you take the reference point, and then from there you are going to draw certain object on screen. So now this set pixel, what it does is it just stores the current color setting into the frame buffer. So now we are drawing this particular object. Its color setting, whatever the color you have set for that particular object, will be stored in the frame buffer at an integer position value x comma y relative to the position. So that means if you are representing here xy position here in the same, it will be there will be a relationship between this frame buffer position and the screen coordinate position. Okay, maybe you say you have the you have one object position here. Okay, the thing is it may be represented on the screen. Okay, there may be relationship between frame buffer position and the with xy coordinates and the screen coordinate. Okay, and next you have get pixel. So now you have the information in the frame buffer, the color information and the location information, everything you have on in the frame buffer. Now you have to retrieve that and you have to place it on the screen. Okay, for retrieving that you have to have another function called get pixel. Get pixel xy and its color, what color you have represented, RGB color. Okay, so now this particular function retrieves the current frame buffer setting for a pixel per location, and the parameter color. So two values, it is xy values. Since it is we are representing a 2D image, it may have two values x and y, and the third parameter is a color. So color parameter, the parameter color receives an integer value corresponding to the combined RGB bit codes stored for a specified pixel at position xy. So now you have the location of the pixel where exactly it has to be displayed on the screen with the values xy, and also the color value. Okay, it's a combined value, it is RGB combined value. Okay, RGB bit codes will be stored, and it will be retrieved for representing the image on the screen. So that is about you are drawing a 2D. Suppose think that you have a 3D image to be represented. Okay, then you have to take one more axis, z axis. Okay, so I say here you have three coordinates now for it displaying 2D image. So z, x, y and z. So when you say an object is displayed on the 3D 3D representation, using a 3D representation, it will have its depth information. And depth in the sense, see that suppose you have a box like structure. Okay, for the front viewer you have to show only the front portion of the screen, this box. Is it? The back portion, few portion will be displayed, but few will should not be shown to the viewer at the front. Okay, someone is sitting here, think that, okay, he is viewing the screen, computer screen, but he has to view only the front portion of the screen. So what about the back portion? Okay, so we have depth information now. Okay, so for two-dimensional scene, all the depth values will be 0. Okay, that thing you have to remember. So you'll be understanding this depth concept in detail. So if you want to represent GL enable, so that is for representing 3D objects, we have GL enable, GL enable depth underscore test. Okay, that gives you, that enables depth information. You have to see, the viewer has to see only the front portion, the other thing has to be disabled, should not be seen. That means you have to apply the hidden surface removal algorithm for removing the back portion of the object. Okay, it has to, the back portion of the object should not be projected on the screen, only front portion of the object has to be displayed. Absolute and relative coordinate specifications. So two kinds of representations we have. One is absolute coordinate system and relative coordinates. So let us see what is absolute coordinate. So for the coordinate references that we have discussed are stated as absolute coordinate values. This means that the values specified are the actual positions within the coordinate system in use. Okay, so if you are considering an object to be represented, okay, on the screen, you may represent it using two values x and y. So so you have x coordinate and y, x axis and y axis, and you may take certain values here, units. Okay, think that this particular pixel or the point is being represented with exactly 50, 50 position. In x-axis 50 and y-axis 50. Okay, so whenever you say that pixel or the vertex is having x, y 50, 50, 50, 50 value, okay, it represents the exact location on the coordinate system, actual position. So we are specifying certain values. Values specified are the actual positions. Okay, it is the actual positions within the coordinate system in use. So what about relative coordinates? Okay, so relative coordinates are another way of representing the particular point on the screen. So however, some graphical packages also allow positions to be specified using relative coordinates. This method is useful for various graphical applications such as producing drawings with pen plotters, artist drawing and painting systems, and graphics packages for publishing and printing applications. Taking this approach, we specify a coordinate position as an offset from the last position that was referenced, called the current position. So we have here an offset. Okay, think that here, for example, you want to represent the same value with certain reference point. Okay, Okay, maybe you say your current position is 0, 0. Okay, current position from the last or last position is 0, 0. You want to represent the point with with reference to this particular coordinate, that is x comma y. So what you have to do, 0 plus 50 comma 0 plus, so 50. You'll be adding and you'll be representing the same point on the screen. So now this 50, so taking this approach, we specify coordinate position as an offset from the last position that was referenced. So we have a offset value here. Offset value. Okay, so this is another way of, so relative coordinates. So suppose you have initially you have the point or the current point at 1, 1. Suppose if you want to represent the same exactly 50, 50 position, then what you have to do, for both of the positions you have to add 49. Both x and y values you have to add 49, then you get the 50, 50 xy value. Okay, so that is relative, we say it as relative coordinates.